So, is Hyrule Warriors worth the double dip? Let's find out. When Hyrule Warriors launched on the Wii U back in August of 2014, many people thought the fine folks over at Koei Techmo were a little crazy, because why would you take the idea of Dynasty Warriors and slap the Legend of Zelda skin on it? But actually, I must say, many people were quite surprised. So now, in March of 2016, we get Hyrule Warriors Legends on the 3DS. So if you thought it was crazy on the Wii U before, now they're taking that entire game and smashing it down onto this small handheld system. But the real question is, was it worth it? So before we hop into the 3DS specifics, let's just remember what it was like on the Wii U. Now on the Wii U, it took the general outline of the Dynasty Warriors series and added Legend of Zelda into it. Now in Dynasty Warriors, you play as one individual character who takes on an entire army as you try to save your kingdom. They take all of the key staples from The Legend of Zelda and put it into this game. So as you're opening chests, you know that wonderful jingle is going to play. You know you're going to have bombs and arrows and boomerangs, everything that's a staple in the Legend of Zelda series. Only it is multiplied to the max in this game. So when you throw a bomb, you're not just throwing one bomb, you are throwing a magnitude of bombs at your enemies. Now I must admit, when they first announced Hyrule Warriors for the Wii U, I was a little on the skeptical side. I've never been a big fan of the Dynasty Warriors series, but I absolutely love Legend of Zelda, so I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. But the combat from Dynasty Warriors and the world from the Legend of Zelda, it just clicked really well and made something beautiful. And after I put probably hundreds of hours into the original, it wasn't really worth going back to on the 3DS. Now on the 3DS version, not much of the story has changed. However, they did add a specific storyline for one character. And that one character is Linkle. Now many of you have heard of Linkle through different websites, things like that, because when she was announced, it was a pretty big deal. Now, the actual story of Linkle isn't that great, but the combat from the character is what's really, really awesome. Now Linkle is not like Link, as you may expect. Instead of wielding a sword, she has dual crossbows, automatic crossbows, which is crazy. So as you're attacking, she's shooting all these crossbows everywhere and throwing bombs, and it's really, really fun and really cool. She also has this mode where when you're attacking, it kind of goes behind the shoulder view, and you can see as she shoots, which is actually a blast. All her specials are great, and she's a lot of fun to use. Now Linkle is not the only brand new character to this game. Because at the end of the game, they've also tagged on a special chapter just for the Wind Waker. And with that, they've brought multiple characters from the Wind Waker into the game. It has Toon Link, Tetra, and the King of Red Lions, all from The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Now they also added the Skull Kid from Majora's Mask. Now it's the only real Majora's Mask character in the game, and outside of the adventure map already based around Termina, there are no other Majora's Mask characters in the game. Now, all these characters play great. Personally, the only character of those I didn't really like was the King of Red Lions. He's a little slow. He's actually pretty interesting, though, because as he attacks, he turns into his boat form from the Wind Waker, which is hilarious to see and play around with. But of all the new characters, I think Toon Link and Linkle are probably the best new additions to this game. So if you enjoyed Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U and you're interested in these characters, but you don't want to get the 3DS version, one thing you can do, you can actually get a special download pack to get these characters on the Wii U. Now that's not out yet. If you do buy the game Hyrule Warriors Legends on the 3DS, it actually comes with the download code, so you can get them now. Now outside of just the new characters, as I mentioned earlier, it does add some additional storylines and levels into the game. So you will have that Linkle storyline. With the Linkle storyline though, you're kind of backtracking where the other characters are going, so you're hitting a lot of the same areas. Where the Wind Waker levels, you're playing in a Wind Waker world, which is pretty awesome. So if you're looking for new levels, the only way to get those are on this version of the game. So now you're asking yourself, okay, I get new characters and new levels, but how does this game really run on the 3DS? Because this game was made for Wii U, and I am actually just as surprised as you are. It runs awesome on the new 3DS. I am actually surprised this game has no right to run as good as it does on the new 3DS. Now, if you're playing on an old 3DS, don't even bother. I mean, it runs really bad on the old 3DS. It is not made for that hardware. This should have been a new 3DS exclusive along with Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. But this game runs awesome on the new 3DS. Now, they had to make a couple of compromises on the graphics. It actually has almost like a cel-shaded look to it with the black outlines, kind of like Smash Brothers does on the 3DS. If you remember what that looks like, it's kind of the same thing, but it looks fantastic. Now, when you do some of your special attacks, things like that, some of your power-ups aren't as strong in the screen. They don't flare up as much. There's some elements taken out, but as long as you don't mind that, this game looks great. And there are a little bit of pop-ins here and there with enemies, but the number of enemies on the screen at one time that you are fighting, and the amount of what's going on, and there's no slowdown, it is awesome. However, I will say if you play in 3D, there is a little bit of frame rate drop. So if you play on the new 3DS and you don't mind 3D, it's awesome. It is a fantastic way to play this game. The other really nice thing about this game is that when you're playing the 3DS, and let's say you played, 5 minutes or so into battle, you can save your game, close your 3DS, and then come back a day later, or, let's say you're riding the bus to work and you play it, and you get to work, you close it, save it, come back later, you pick up right where the battle left off. So this game is awesome on handheld. And personally, after playing it on the handheld, if Hyrule Warriors stays a handheld exclusive, I think I'd be fine with that. So now to answer the big question, is this worth the double dip on the Wii U? Now first I want to say, if you do not have it on Wii U, and you have a new 3DS, buy this game. This game is awesome. It is a great game to play on 3DS. Like I mentioned, it plays fantastic, it looks great, it is a great game to have. But if you already have it on Wii U, I'd say it really matters on how much you liked the first game. Now, if you're like me and you put tons of time into this game, you love playing the adventure maps, and you want more content, yes, buy this game. Because like I said, the other game came out in 2014, so it's been a few years since it came out. So playing through it again, it's almost like a new experience, and it's great. I am loving every minute of it. Plus, I get the new content, sprinkled in as well. So there you have it, folks. I say it is absolutely worth a double dip, but of course, that's up to you. It really depends on how much you like The Legend of Zelda Hyrule Warriors on Wii U. Now, if you loved it, you want more content, absolutely check it out. And on the 3DS, if you do not have it on Wii U and you have a new 3DS, I highly suggest checking it out. Now, as for Life of Gaming, you can find us on YouTube where you found this, but also check out our podcast every week on iTunes. We're also on Facebook, Life Gaming Podcast, on Twitter at Life of Gaming Pod, so make sure to check it out. As for me, you can always find me on Twitter at JamesPlus12. Until next time, I am out.